Welcome to the realm of intoxicating flavors and head-banging beer reviews.
What do we have here but another beer from the evil empire? What's up, everybody? It's the Ginger Yeti, and I'm checking in from home. And what I have for you today is Busch Light. Y'all know what it is. If you're watching my channel, you drink beers, I would think, and you've probably had a Busch Light. I want to give you a little bit of history about this beer and the brewery that you might not know before I get into the beer. So, Anheuser-Busch, or Anheuser, the original brewery, was founded in 1852 by a German-American brewer and a saloon operator called George Schneider. And he called the brewery the Bavarian Brewery. And then, through financial troubles in the 1850s, he sold the brewery, went through various owners, and in 1860, the brewery was purchased while it was in the process of being bankrupt or going through bankruptcy by William Deonch. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's D''Oench, and who was a local pharmacist, and Eberhard Anheuser, who was a German-born soap manufacturer. Now, those two purchased a brewery, and William was just a silent partner. And from that point on, from 1860 to 1875, the brewery was known as E. Anheuser and Company. And then 1875 to 79, it was the E. Anheuser Company's Brewing Association. But then Adolphus Busch, now we get into the Busch side of it. He was a wholesaler who had immigrated to St. Louis from Germany in 1857, and he married Eberhard Anheuser's daughter, the founder, or the guy that started, changed the name to Anheuser. And he started working as a salesman for Anheuser. And then eventually he purchased William's part of the company, his share, in 1869. And he assumed the role of the company secretary up until the point of Eberhard. That's, for some reason, that's such a hard name to pronounce. Eberhard passed away. So Adolphus Busch was the first American brewer, this is kind of interesting, to use pasteurization to keep beers fresh. He was also the first to use mechanical refrigeration and refrigerated railroad cars. And he was actually one of the first to bottle beer extensively. So then the company was renamed in 1879 to the Anheuser-Busch Brewing Association. And the Busch family fully controlled the company from then up until 2008, when the evil empire AB InBev, when InBev bought Anheuser-Busch and became the evil empire AB InBev. So Busch itself, the Busch brands, they were introduced pretty much in response to Major League Baseball. Because Major League Baseball had a rule in the early 50s. They just started doing the whole naming rights to their stadiums. And some of it was looked at very controversial. And naming ballparks after alcoholic beverages was forbidden. So since the Busch family couldn't name Sportsman's Park in St. Louis Budweiser Stadium, they decided to name the Cardinal Stadium after the owner, Gussie Busch. And that's how it became Busch Stadium. And then, because of that, they decided to introduce beers under a Busch brand. So we get on to Busch Light here, the beer I'm going to review today. Busch Light's a 4.1% alcohol light lager, and they introduced this in 1989. So it's kind of a storied history about there and how it went from Busch to Anheuser, or went from Anheuser Brewing to Busch to getting to this beer here that we're now going to review. If you stayed through that whole little history lesson, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It seemed like it was a little interesting tidbits to me. Hope you found that interesting. So this beer here, like I said, it's going to be yellow fizzy water. Everybody knows that. Untapped because it has 5 IBUs. I couldn't find that anywhere. But on Untapped, this gets a 2.60 with 114,000 check-ins. On Beer Advocate, it gets a 49 awful with 1,891 check-ins, and their aggregate score was 1.96, much lower than Untapped. And again, this is a light yellow fizzy beer. I don't expect it to be great. Surprisingly, it doesn't smell like much on the nose. I don't get anything on the nose whatsoever. If you put a glass of this and a glass of water next to each other, I don't know that you could tell the difference as far as the nose goes, as far as smells or aromas. Maybe if you got way down there, you would be like, yeah, that's not water, but I don't know what it is. But there's just nothing on the nose. And that's a fizzy fizzy, super clear, carbonated liquid there. I mean, that's super, very, very light yellow. Probably about a 1 on the yellow color there on the SRM. Extremely see-through, very effervescent. It had an active foamy white head that dissipated real quickly. And it just looks like a beer-flavored beer to me. So let's find out. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for sticking along this long. Yeah, that's what I expected. Very light, almost like water. Very little flavor whatsoever. If somebody made a beer-flavored carbonated water, that's probably what I would say this is. I mean, that's about what it is. You have a slight, very slight hint of beer in there, but it's just like carbonated water with some beer flavoring. Now, saying that, it's not terrible, it's not awful, it's not a sink pour. I mean, it is a light lager, 4.1%. Just a generic lager. What do you expect? If I was looking for something on a super hot day, some lawnmower beers, some beer pong beers, crushable beers, you can pick up a 30 rack of this and be just fine for the day. Tailgating beers, if you want to be able to crush through a ton of beers and not get too fluthered, this is probably a good beer to go to. As far as taste flavor, it's just there. It's water. I mean, it's yellow fizzy water that has some beer flavoring added to it. Would I buy it again? Time and place, maybe. Definitely wouldn't be a go-to. But it's kind of weird trying to rate something like this because it's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's a light beer. There's no off-putting flavors. There's no bad flavors. It's not a sink pour. It's just not something that I would enjoy drinking regularly. If I was looking for a light beer, yeah, sure. So I have to begrudgingly give this a horns up. It's a serviceable beer. Time and place. Drink this, like I said, playing beer pong. You could crush tons of these. Out there fishing on a lake, tailgating. Not a bad beer to have. Again, not a go-to I would go to. Not mad if somebody hands this to me. For a Evil Empire macro beer, it's all right. I mean, I could drink it. Hope you all think this video is all right. Hope you enjoyed the little history lesson. Did I get this wrong? I mean, I don't think anybody's going to really say this is a stellar best beer in the world or it's the most awful beer in the world. It's just your average run-of-the-mill beer. But did I get it wrong? Let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please hit that subscribe. And as always, embrace the adventure.